We're going to go see our friends over at Fitness 1119. It's a personal training studio. It makes a great place to train, and especially here nestled in a quiet community in San Mateo, it's a place that you can have both your privacy and access to a full line of equipment. Let's go in. First of all, I have to tell you that I have fallen in love with a yoga mat. I've seen yoga mats come and go over the years, but this is the first one that is ideally suited for the reposturing stretches that will help you line up and do everything perfectly the first time. Let's take a look. One thing that I like about the Yoga Force mat that was designed by Ann Appleby is that it's got a line straight down the middle, so that wherever you're supposed to have your feet, it's easy to see both that your feet are far apart, but they're also parallel, and they're still straight in line with each other. The second thing is it rolls up easily. And the reason why we're here today is people ask me all the time, I'm about to go running, what exercises should I do? I have 6 that are perfect for running. If you go anywhere, anytime, you should definitely do this group of 6 super stretches for walking. Melinda's going to demonstrate the step-up lunge. And if you'll see that she has, from behind me here, you'll be able to see how she has her front leg at mostly perpendicular. And she's got her back foot stretched back, and she's going to stretch out far enough back so that the back heel is a little bit off the floor, and the knee is just slightly bent. As this gets easier and easier for her, she's going to hop back with her foot. Excellent. And now she's back, the heel's a little bit off the floor, the toes are straight in line with each other, like this. But never crossing over, because if you cross over, you start to teeter like this. If you have it out to the side, it lets your body balance itself upright. The next thing I look for is how vertical the body is from the hip line all the way up to the shoulder, and the shoulders hang behind the body's midline. When she's breathing in, the breath opens the hip in the front. After 5 breaths, she scoots back a little bit more and then changes feet. She's scooting, and this time at the last one that she does after this hip is as open as she wants to get it now, she's going to take 3 breaths and change sides. 2, 3, and then she uses both hands to push on her knee to come out of it. And what she's going to do next is change sides by just going the opposite direction. Again, she's walking so that, see how she's using the line that's on the Yoga Force athletic mat? And lets the back heel come up, and the front leg is straight up and down at the from the knee to the ankle. Her torso is upright. Her arms are hanging behind her body's midline, so much so that they hang behind the hip. She's going to take 5 breaths and then scoop back a little bit with the back heel. Excellent. Now she starts to teeter a little bit, but that's okay. But that's why you have your balance, and you can catch it before you fall. Again, her body is upright. Her arms are hanging behind the body's midline, and the weight of her body actually pulls the hip open right in the front. After the 3rd breath, she can go back, or she can decide to come out of it by placing one hand on top of the other and pushing out slowly. When she does that, she's able to walk around to let her body recalibrate her balance, and you will see her, once that hip is open, the body moves differently. And that recalibration is important so that when you are in your run, you have your freedom of movement so that your body can balance your weight from left to right. Let's go on to the next exercise. The next exercise is the standing crossover hip stretch. She's going to walk to the middle of the mat, and what she's going to be doing is stretching the outer hip muscles. These muscles help to balance your weight on the same leg. And what you need to do is give them as much freedom of movement as possible. When you're about to go for a run, you want to open these up by allowing your body to balance your weight. So what she's going to do, if you look at her feet, is have the feet crossed over and the toes in line with each other. And then she's going to tip her hip a little bit more forward, touching the arms from the sides to her shoulders. She's going to look down to see which foot is in the back. And then she's going to lean toward that side. As she leans her upper body toward the side where the back foot is, she's going to let her hip naturally come over to balance her weight left to right. So that if you look straight down the midline of her body, you can see how her body weight is balanced and she's got symmetry. The weight of the body and her breath open the hip up with every breath. And you'll feel these muscles that go right here and maybe right here open up. If she was to extend her arms and come out of it, it makes it very easy for her body to change weight from left to right. Let's go to the other side. She steps across the line, and what's nice about the Yoga Force mat is by having a center line, you always know where you are and where you left off. Reaching her arms from the sides, touching her shoulders, she's looking down to see which foot is in the back, and she's leaning over to the side with her upper body while she allows her lower body to counterbalance her weight on that midline. With 5 breaths, her rib cage opens from the side, because part of what gives torso flexibility is when the ribs open up from the sides. She'll feel those ribs open up, and you have some muscles called obliques, and those muscles go from the bottom of the ribs to the top of the hip bone. Coupled with the muscles in between the ribs and the obliques, you also add on the hips from the sides, and you've got a magic trio. The arms come down again, and she's going to walk, because as the pelvis wakes up, what it does for her is help the body to retrain your balance with every stride. And you notice how just the shift from the step-up lunge, which opened up the front of the hips, to the standing crossover, opened up the sides of the hips. Now you know what's next. We need to open up the middle of the hips.